Hello student, very good morning to all of you. How are you? I hope you all are happy, healthy and fine at home. Do you remember what were we discussing yesterday? Yesterday I think we were discuss about the scheme number 2, and that scheme number 2 is a enantiomer selective construction of hirsutolone core 5 and carbamate 12, that how we derived it, how they have derived it, that we have discussed in our previous lecture, starting from the compound 7, which containing as a two functional group. One is aldehyde and second one is a triolefin at a particular stage. As we know that there are two functional group where when there is a addition of as well as we have seen the reagent and the condition used for scheme number 2, and what are the some of the short form or the acronyms are used, and their full form also we have learned in our previous lectures. Now the step by step what are the reaction involved in that we are going to discuss right now. If you remember the structure of hirsutolone B, there we will already describe some of the important feature or the important characteristic feature of the hirsutolone B. It is a natural product which mainly possess the important biological activity such as anti-tuberculosis, and therefore to synthesize such compound in the laboratory, that is a very big challenge before the scientist. And for synthesizing that hirsutolone B, which is a target molecule, as we know that target molecule means whose synthesis being planned is called as a target molecule. And first, retrosynthetic analysis. Retrosynthetic analysis means what? The process of breaking down target molecule into convenient starting material is known as retrosynthetic analysis. And you have to observe the structure target molecule carefully, first recognize the functional group present in the target molecule, and if you observe this molecule very closely, very carefully, you will find there are number of functional groups are present, and therefore you have to select, you have to choose the strategy. You can plan the retrosynthesis in a such a way that you should keep the chemoselectivity in mind. Such type of the strategy you can plan during that synthesis. So far we have discussed or synthesized the molecule, that is important core 656, ring core 5, and the structure number 12 we have discussed the scheme number 2. Now let us see a further discussion or the explanation regarding whatever we have discussed in our previous lecture. The Stark-Zhao olefination, the Stark-Zhao olefination of 7, that is the structure number I am talking about. Whatever the number I am going to use, the number they are with respect to that particular structure. So thus the Stark-Zhao olefination of 7 with phosphoferron PH3P double bond CHI, which is a modified Wittig reagent or stabilized Wittig reagent generated from PH3P CH2I and KHMDS. Here KHMDS is nothing but the full form of that. KHMDS is a potassium hexamethyl diacylazide, and which act as a base in this particular reaction to prepare the stabilized Wittig reagent or modified Wittig reagent, furnish the corresponding Z olefinic iodide. Z olefinic iodide you might be knowing if there is a nomenclature system. If E and Z, these are the to avoid the complication of name. If you remember geometrical isomer means what? The rotation is restricted due to the presence of carbon-carbon double bond, and the compound gives rise to special type of isomer is known as geometrical isomer, and that geometrical isomer in a simplified way get classified further into two classes. Number one is called as a trans isomer, number second we can call it as a cis isomer. Cis isomer means what and trans isomer means what? These are the geometrical terms, because while studying such type of the molecule, we have to maintain the geometry of that particular compound which we are synthesizing in the laboratory to achieve such target molecule like as a hirsutolone B. And therefore these are the terminologies, cis isomer and the trans isomer. Cis isomer, let's see the definition, simplest definition of cis isomer. For example, similar group are on the same side of the carbon-carbon double bond is termed as a cis isomer, whereas trans isomer means what? Similar group are on the opposite side of the carbon-carbon double bond. That isomer is known as trans isomer. Generally, the trans isomers are more stable than cis isomer. The reason behind this cis isomer and the trans isomer, cis isomer is less stable because both the similar group are on the same side, they are nearer to each other. Both the bulky group nearer to each other, they create the lot of steric interaction or the steric hindrance. Due to the steric hindrance, internal energy or the potential internal energy increases. Once the internal energy increases, the stability of any organic molecule goes on decreasing. So that is the general guideline or the general rule for the statement of stability of that particular compound. If you observe the trans isomer carefully, you will find trans isomer are more stable because there is no steric hindrance and therefore no question of increasing internal energy, and therefore trans isomer are more stable than the cis isomer. Let us see here C, here CS3, here is a CS3, here H and here H. In the another case, I am writing here CS3, here is a CS3, H and the H. There's two structure, 2-butene has two structure. If you observe this fourth structure, it is a trans 2-butene. This is a structure trans 2-butene. Trans why? These similar group are on the opposite side of the carbon-carbon double bond, and therefore it is termed as a trans. Whereas cis means both these two groups are nearer to each other, they create a lot of steric interaction, and therefore this cis is a less stable, cis 2-butene. So this is the simplest molecule. When let me the another molecule here CS3, C double bond C, H, here is a H, then CH2, CS3, again C double bond here CS3, here CH2, CS3, H, and here also H. Look at, is there, this one is a cis or trans, here also you can say this methyl group, ethyl group, they are maybe as a similarity, because alkyl and methyl, these are the bulkier group, they are what we can call it as a away from each other, so it may be as a cis trans isomer. This may be you can call it as a trans. But if the molecules like this, carbon-carbon double bond, here CH2, CH3, here is a CS3, here H, here may be as a CH2, CH2 and CS3. What do you say? Whether it is a cis or trans, and so if the molecule, such the complex molecule, if this type of the compound we cannot identify whether cis or trans, here suppose here CS3, here chlorine, here may be as a CH2, CS3, here may be as a Br something. Whether it is a cis or trans, how do you decide? Such a type of the complicated compound, the scientists get confused at that time, and they discovered the new method, new terminology, while giving the IUPAC name of that compound. And instead of that E and J, that cis and trans, they have invented the new terminology, that is absolute configuration, E and Z configuration, or you can call it as E and Z configuration, or Z and E configuration. E means etagen, that is across. Z means zusammen, means together. These are the foreign words. According to that, the E and Z, for that purpose we must remember the sequence rule. What do you mean by the sequence rule? You already learned these are type of the term in your lower classes, such as FYBSc, SYBSc, or even though TYBSc, or even though in MSc. What is that sequence rule? Sequence rule is nothing but the arrangement of group around the chiral center is known as a sequence rule. There is a priority rule, that CR, it is sometimes referred as a CIP rule. CIP means these three words, CIP. CIP is nothing but as Kahn, Ingold, Prelog. These are the scientist name, and by together they work together and formulated one rule, that is first rule, depending upon the atomic number. Those group attached to the carbon atom having, according to their atomic number, those are having highest atomic number, it will get the first priority. Then later on, second, if both the connectivity of that atom are same, suppose as a carbon and carbon, particularly in this case, here also as a carbon, here also as a carbon. So how do you find them? Then go for the next atom. Next atom is a carbon, here also as a carbon, but this carbon further attached to. So like this, that is the second rule. Third rule, that is regarding as a carbon-carbon double bond or the triple bond. The organic compound carbon may contain carbon-carbon double bond or carbon-carbon triple bond or carbon-oxygen double bond, carbon-sulfur double bond or carbon-nitrogen triple bond. And then the carbon-carbon triple bond, suppose carbon nitrogen triple bond is nothing but it corresponding to carbon to 3 nitrogen atom like this. These are the rules. And there is isotope. As we know that hydrogen has a 3 isotope. Number 1, simplest hydrogen atom. Number 2, deuterium. And third one is a tritium. Means they are having their atomic number is the same, but their mass numbers are different. So that type of the phenomenon is known as isotopes. Hydrogen has a 3 isotopes. So similarly, by using this, but here while E and Z, again remember E means what? Priority group are similar priority group are suppose 1 1 and 2 2. That's it. Suppose here look at simplest one. Whether it is a E or Z, suppose here methyl group, it is a bigger, so you give the number 1, here is a 2. Here it is a 1, here is a 2. Circle it. Look at this first priority group are on the opposite side of the carbon-carbon double bond, and this is known as a E configuration. So simple it is to recognize whether it is a E configuration or Z configuration is so simple. Only give the numbering, just assign the priority number 1 and 2 and see what they are. If you see over here, methyl group is a bigger, so it will get as a first priority number, and hydrogen should get as a second priority number. Here it will get first priority number, hydrogen should get as a second priority number. See, both the first priority group or this second priority group, similar priority group are on the same side of the carbon-carbon double bond, which is termed as a Z configuration. This is known as a Z configuration. You have to write like this. So here, look at here, and therefore such type of if the compounds are there, we have to adapt, we have to use the new method for the nomenclature system when the molecule becomes such a complex, because it is very easy. So here chlorine and bromine, which one is a bigger? Chlorine is a bigger in atomic number or chlorine is bigger? As we know that these are the halogen family member. What are those halogen family members? Fluorine, chlorine, bromine and the iodine, as we know that. Starting from top to bottom, their atomic number also goes on increasing. So definitely bromine followed by the chlorine, and therefore it will get the first priority, it will get the second priority. Here methyl and the ethyl, it will get the first priority, it will get the second. So look at here, both 1 1 priority group are on the same side, and therefore these type of the compound are known as Z configuration. Z configuration. So this is the simplest way of knowing that, and that's why here in this case why I am explaining this, so that you can remember what do you mean by the E and Z configuration. These are the extended version of the cis and trans configuration. So I hope you may understood this E and Z configuration. These are the absolute configuration depending upon the priority numbers. Now let's go back to our original discussion where we are discussing about the synthesis of hirsutolone B. So that Z olefinic iodide, which was subjected to selective ozonolysis to afford iodoaldehyde 8 in 80% overall. When we add these reagents, we have got the structure number 8, which we already learned in our previous lecture where we got that one, and which was subjected to selective ozonolysis to offer iodoaldehyde in 80% overall yield. Yes, very high yield, good yield, and reaction of the latter with the stabilized phosphorane PS3 P double bond CH CHO, that is a modified Wittig reagent, or we can call it as a stabilized Wittig reagent, and subsequent Jorgensen asymmetric epoxidation. Remember Jorgensen asymmetric epoxidation of the resulting alpha beta unsaturated aldehyde with H2O2 hydrogen peroxide in the presence of proline derived catalyst 9 resulted in the formation of the expected epoxy aldehyde, whose condensation with PS3 P double bond CH CO2 Me furnish epoxy ester iodide 10, that 58% overall yield, coupling of olefinic iodide 10 with the stannone TMS derivative 11 in the presence of CuTC. CuTC, as we know that the structure of CuTC, that is a thiophene moiety attached with the CO2 Cu, led to cyclization precursor 6 in 70% yield. 6 structure which we already seen in our previous lecture. The much anticipated intramolecular epoxide opening Diels-Alder reaction, as we know that Diels-Alder reaction was induced by Et twice AlCl, that is a diethyl aluminum chloride. CH2Cl2 is a solvent, temperature kept -78 degree to 25 degree centigrade to afford the targeted tricyclic core. Targeted tricyclic core 5, it means the structure number 5, which we have discussed in our previous lecture, in 50% yield as a single diastereoisomers. Look at this one. And it is assumed that this highly productive reaction proceeds through species first, that is Lewis acid activation. Lewis acid activation. That, let's see that activation, how that activation can be carried out over here. Let's see. It is, I am showing this structure over here. That is actually dotted. This one. Then we can show here double bond. Then there is a double bond, then double bond. Then we can write here PMS. Then on this side, as we know that this is a epoxide get activated, ET twice, positive charge comes on it, then double bond CO2 Me, and this structure is generally known as first structure, right? This is a first structure, and which further, this is a dotted line, means this 6-membered ring is going to form there, and as we know that shear conformation is more stable over here. I am showing here, and this is at here here you can show don't show this one. So here now what is going to happen at equatorial position, and this is also at equatorial position, then we can show double bond, then there is a double bond over here, then here is a double bond, then CO2 Me, and now here 2 plus 2 cycloaddition reaction, 4 plus 2 cycloaddition reaction occur between this is a diene and this is a dienophile, and this structure we can say it is a structure number 2, where here chlorine Cl is generally attacking over there, is forming like this, and there is a this is going to attack over here, and this get open, so that we will get as a this type of the structure, and now this is going to get as a structure number 5. This is a scheme number 3, this is shown as a scheme number 3. Scheme number 3, that is patulated preferred transition state, preferred transition state, conformations of first and second, conformations of first and second, leading to tricyclic core 5 product 5, which is shown over here, and it is assumed that this highly productive reaction proceed through species first Lewis acid activation, leading to intermediate second, of which the protonated form 6A, not shown in this case, was isolated and fully characterized, which then undergoes reaction under the Lewis acid condition to give the final product 5, which we got over here. And whereas endo transition state second, scheme 3, explain the stereo selectivity of the incipient 4 plus 2 cycloaddition reaction to afford product 5 exclusively means there is no alternatively major product we are getting over here, and see here both the groups are present at equatorial position, when as we know that chair conformation is more stable, and there are two kinds of the bonds are present, one is called as axial bond and another one is called as equatorial bond. Axial bond which are parallel which are perpendicular to the general plane, that type of the bonds are called as axial bonds, and those are lying along with the parallel or they are projecting outward, that type of the bonds are termed generally called as equatorial. And when the 6-membered ring, according to as a bare strain theory, those bulkier group prefer to stay at equatorial position, And here, whenever there is a cycloaddition reaction, there are two kind of the cycloadditions, generally occurring, commonly occurring 2 plus 2 cycloaddition, and another one is a 4 plus 2 cycloaddition, and all the general rule is depending on that. 2 plus 2 cycloaddition, it is a photochemically allowed reaction, and 4 plus 2 is a thermally allowed reaction. Why it is a thermally allowed reaction? That is the theoretical part over there, but here there is a suitable homo-lumo concept is using there, and that is a very famous reaction, which is a Diels-Alder reaction. Diels-Alder reaction, here the 4 plus 2 cycloaddition reaction, and the ring is formed, 6-membered ring is a form, and that will be the stable one. When there is a diene should be in a cis conformation, and dienophile must have a electron withdrawing group, then and then there is a rate of that reaction, Diels-Alder reaction, is enhanced or increased tremendously, and that is a condition required here. And the structure of 5 was determined by NMR spectroscopic means. NMR means nuclear magnetic resonance. It gives the information, stereochemical information regarding what kind of the environment around that proton, and from that we can, or the chemist come to know the structure of that compound. 4 plus 2 cycloaddition reaction to afford product 5 exclusively. The structure of 5 was determined by NMR spectroscopic means and was confirmed unambiguously through X-ray crystallographic analysis of its carbamate derivative 12. The derivative which we have learned earlier, prepared from 5 by reaction with para-bromo C6H5NCO and CH2Cl2 CORTEP driving figure, the figure which is shown over here. And I think that X-ray derived ORTEP driving of carbamate 12 thermal ellipse side at 30% probability, that is shown over here. And as we know that this structure, let us see X-ray crystallography, how that compound structure number 12, which we already discussed in our earlier is, but here X-ray crystallography, as we know that there are this is a 6-membered ring, where the 5-membered ring, once again there will be a 6-membered ring, and how they are joined. X-ray crystallography means only bond you can see over here. So how they looks like this. This is a X-ray crystallography, you can see like this. Then there will be here, actually here the oxygen you can show over here. Then there will be a here oxygen, and then you can see here is a this type of the compound. X-ray crystallography, here is a Br, here is a oxygen atom which is represented over here. Then here maybe as a methyl group, here it's compound above, below. Then the compound which is shown here like this, the compound here the compound shown like this. X-ray crystallography is shown over here like this. This is a X-ray crystallography that is shown in a figure number 2. X-ray derived ORTP driving of carbamate 12 thermal ellipsoid at 30% probability. Then having reached the tricyclic core 5 of the hirsutolone molecule and its elaboration into the macrocyclic sulfone 3 became our next objective, and that objective I think the remaining discussion we will discuss in our next lecture. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you.